Hello, I'm Rick Stivers with YoungMartin'sReels. Today we've got this Johnson Laker Model 140 reel that we're working on. When I picked this reel up, I picked it up at the flea market for $1. It didn't have a handle on it. It now has a handle, but it's not the right handle. So I'm going to let you guys vote on what handle we put on here. The original handle for these reels had a white handle, but it wasn't that shape. It was more this shape, but it was white. So this is actually kind of technically the correct handle, only it's black instead of white. This handle looks more appropriate because it's white when the push button in here is white. And then I've got this reel, which is a handle, which is actually a Johnson handle, but it doesn't go to this reel. But it's a really nice fit for this reel. So I'm really thinking it probably should be this one, but I'm going to let you guys vote on which handle I put on there. At the end of the video, I'll put one of those on there just to hold things, but in the meantime, all right, we're going to start off. I've taken the handle off. We're going to take the cap off, and we are going to unscrew the rotor on this. If you were a Zebco person, you would call this a spinner head. And we'll slip that off. Okay, the plastic ring on here is good. Dan Selvig was explaining on the Johnson group that these are supposed to have this plastic ring on it. Unfortunately, this one does have the plastic ring. So let's go ahead and pull the clip and slide the spool off. And it's a little gritty. So definitely needs to be cleaned. But I don't see any damage anywhere, but the line on this thing is just absolutely rotted. Although it's not breaking. So, all right, that's that. Let's see where we go from here. I've never taken a Johnson Laker apart. So this is all new territory for me. Let's see here. Wow. This is definitely new territory for me. It would appear that this pin comes out, but that almost appears to be a driven pin. All of this seems solid. As though maybe it's built like a Zebco. Yeah, it's starting to separate right here. Okay. There we go. Yeah, this is a lot like a Zebco reel. Okay, what do we got here holding this? Uh-oh. Oh, it's the washer for the handle over here. It wants to come out, but it also is jammed because of the drag wheel adjuster. Let's see if I adjust it all the way one way, will it free it up a little bit? So far, the answer is no. Okay, so it appears, yep, it's going to be one of those where you have to slip it off of the side like that. All right. And the axle shaft will come out this way. Well, this seems to turn very freely, but it does stick every so often right there. Okay, so maybe it's just dirty. We've got a screw holding on our drag adjuster over here. So let's go ahead. Take that off. Wow, you can hear the sand in it. All right. There we go. And that is a plastic adjuster screw. I'm hoping I don't have to mess with that. And let's see if we can now take, well, I bet this comes out similar to what the Zebcos do, maybe. Okay, it appears that these will pull off of the end. There we go. All right, get that piece out now. This piece will come off, and now we can slide this out. And hopefully I can get all of these parts cleaned up. We could take this part apart, but I would rather clean it real well in some acetone and then re-oil it and see if we can't get it operating smoothly again. And here is our anti-reverse pawl, and it should just slide out. Usually they do, and it doesn't, so I'm going to leave it in there. Okay. All right. There is a bent end on this anti-reverse pawl, and I think that that is what the main gear was catching on, is these sharp points. I don't know if you can see them, but there are sharp points on the edges of these where they've been hammered down over the years. And I think we can probably take a file and clean that up very effectively, very quickly. I think that was exactly what was causing it to stick. All right. No more sharp edges on there. All right, I'm going to scrub all these parts up, clean them up, and when I come back, we'll start reassembling. All right, that really didn't take very long at all. And we've got everything pretty well cleaned up, ready to go back together. And we're going to start off by reinstalling our main gear. We've got to make sure to get this anti-reverse lever over here where it belongs. And it's trying to bind. There, that's better. Okay. And we are going to oil the main gear where it goes through the case here, like so. Now we've got that in the right position. Here's how our anti-reverse works. If you watch it, as it goes by, it just ticks, and then when it tries to reverse, it catches on the bottom one. The next part that we're going to put back in, actually this was probably where I should have started. I did eventually manage to get all these parts off on the front here. What had happened, where this spool sits in here, it has a spring clip that slides through here. Well, over the years of that being hammered on, it had flared out the edge of this. So what I had to do was file and then sand this down so that these would be able to be removed and installed. So we're going to start off by putting the drag clicker back on. And it's going to go to where it lays down in this little slot over here, like this. Okay, then notice the square hole or rectangular hole over here. we are going to slide the first of the these are called the outside drag washers. Okay, we're going to put that one on first. Then goes the inside, which is the middle. Okay, and if you look, it fits real loose. Well, it's because it has a purpose in life, and it's going to be what is activated by this keyway here. All right, then comes the second one. It goes on, and we line that one up as well, like so. With all of those lined up, and this one can go in. But before we do that, let's go ahead and put this clicker back on. This clicker slides over this post right here, and then comes over, and you notice the little hole. That hole sits on that post right there, just like that. And now, if we've done all this correctly, we're going to put a little grease in this hole here. And we're going to drop this lever back inside. At least that's our plan. Tell you what, let's move this out of the way for the moment. Let's see if we can get that lever to fit back down through the hole. All right. So what that's telling me is maybe I need to assemble these after I have put that on. Let's try that. There. All right, now, there we go. We need to get that to fit. So this screw is up against that post right there. There. Now, while holding it in place so it can't fall out, I'm going to put the middle piece back in. All right, well, and it does look like we're going to get to adjust this screw. So we'll adjust this screw all the way out to here. That now allows it to go up against that post, and hopefully now that's moved it in enough I can put the center post or the center drag washer back on, and I can. See, I shortened up the screw, pushed this over as far as it would go, and now I can bring this center drag washer and slip it into place. Okay, and that notch is in, or that lever is inside that notch. Then go ahead and slide the last one on like so. Now I can move that over, and let's go ahead and put our clicker back on and get it on the post like so. And at this point, we should be able to screw this screw back in to at least approximately where it was before, which was about halfway, like so. And at this point, I think we would go ahead and put this lever in by pulling, or the knob back on by pulling this over as far as it will go and sliding that in, and then putting the screw back in. For those of you who couldn't see it, let me show you this again. All right, see this cam wheel? See this cam that's on this? I don't know if you can see how well you can, there you go. There's a cam on this, and as you rotate it around, it gets further and further away from the center. Okay, we're going to take the thinnest part of that cam, and we're going to slide it under the foot of that screw, like that. Okay, that's going to be how we adjust our drag later. that screw is going to allow us, when we go max up to here, boom, right there, that's max. If we don't have enough drag, we can adjust that screw in to give us even more. I would not recommend adjusting it in while you have it at max, because I'm afraid you break the screw off. What you do instead is lower it down to minimum drag again and screw it in a little bit and try it there. All right, let's go ahead and put the screw back in. Okay, that moves freely. We're going to give it a shot of oil so that it stays moving freely. They say you shouldn't have to grease plastic parts. All right. With that set into place, we should now be able to set the spool back on. I'm trying to get this line out of the way. Okay. And we do have drag. That's fine. And let's put the clip back on now. I think the flat side is going to go in the notch. There we go, like that. Okay. We have drag. Let's go ahead and tighten the drag. Okay, tighten it some more. And that's just about almost line breaking tension there, so that's fine. That's plenty of drag. Now I'm going to put some grease on this gear, the axle shaft, and I'm going to slide the pinion gear down, and I'm going to put some grease underneath while I'm holding it down. And then I'm going to massage it just a little bit, give it a chance for that grease to work in. Once I've accomplished that, I'm going to come back and grease the pinion gear. And before I set it into place, I'm going to come back and grease the main gear. Now, how many of you have noticed that the anti-reverse kicked out of its location while I had this in the other position? Okay, so we push this up and we rotate that anti-reverse back down to where it belongs and then drop it into place. With that done, we can now slide the axle back in. And now comes the intricate part of trying to maneuver this back in. So you start off over here on this side, getting that drag wheel into this slot over here. Okay, once we've done that, we come back to this side and we start working to massage this around to get this to pop in. Once that's done, everything's where it belongs and we're good. Okay, and I almost made a mistake there. I almost cut that line off so short that I was going to have to fight to get it back out later. Don't want to do that because I want to pull all that line off, but I also want this line out to test the drag. Okay, I'm going to come back to here. And this assembly right here reminds me so much of a Zebco reel that it's not even funny. It's pretty nice. I like it. It's just simple. There's nothing overly complicated about it. All right, we've got the rotor back on. If you didn't see how I did that, hold the button in so that this stays up where it needs to be. Keep the line out of the way. And then there's a flat spot in this D, or in this rotor. We want to find the flat spot on here and match those two up and Set that back into place and install the nut. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to run the line through the cap. And let's put the cap on. Now I may have to come back because, okay, at first it looked like I had no anti-reverse. All right. Now it's time to put the handle on. And what should be, according to the schematic over here, is there should be a washer here, which I had to come up with that washer because it was missing as well. And I'm going to put this handle on. And we'll slip it on. And then install the nut. Okay, drag's working. Can we adjust it in? Oh yeah, you can make it really tight. Let's zoom out now. Hit the button, line comes out, although this is a really nasty line. Okay, let's wind it in. Okay, there is no more skip like there used to be. And there you have the Johnson Laker Model 140. And I'm going to let you guys vote on which handle is going to go on it. It's got three. One says Johnson on it. One looks like the original Johnson, but it's got a black knot handle instead. And then we've got this one that is the right shape and everything, and it's white, but it's not, doesn't have the right shaped knob. So you guys make the call. What do you want to see on this reel? For now, that's Rick Stivers with Young Martin's Reels, signing out.